of you. Now give them what they came for.
Harmonix made the late 2000s rock. You couldn't go to a party or bar without seeing 4 plastic rock band instruments in a corner just begging for you and your friends to butcher a classic pop tune with. The music game fad tragically died out in the 2010s, but for a brief while, Harmonix's new DJ simulator Fuser rekindles some of its high points and inspires hope that the genre could make a comeback. Fuser does an admirable job of invoking the sensation of being an artist by helping you freely mix tracks like a pro, but score chasers may find that for them, the party is short-lived. Every set of Fuser begins the same way. First, you fill your digital crate with records that span several eras and genres. The selection feels truly all-encompassing, with over 100 options from back-in-the-day jams like Patti LaBelle's Lady Marmalade to new school hits from the likes of Dua Lipa and Bad Bunny, along with plenty of obscure filler songs. Add in some playable drum machines and synths, and you're ready to hit the stage. From the moment you drop your first disc, your job will be to wow the crowd by mixing and matching vocals and various instruments from various tracks. Can the drums from Brad Paisley's Mud on the Tires sound great with the strings from Salt and Peppa's Push It? Of course they can! This works seamlessly more often than not because there's a lot of behind-the-scenes heavy lifting being done by Fuser to make everything mesh. Inevitably, there's a number of mixes where the magic trick feels far less enchanting, but it's surprising how often it sounds great. Regardless of the material, the key to good DJing is dropping records with pinpoint timing. That means making sure you're cueing your music on every 4th beat or more track-specific pickups that signal the perfect time in the next group of bars to drop your piece. On top of that, changing the key or tempo of your running mix along with a bunch of other options can send the virtual crowd swinging from the digital rafters in elation when blended perfectly. The nuances of how the scoring system works are pretty obscure though, so while nailing the basics consistently produces good scores, it's difficult to know how to break through to 5-star runs. On that note, hopping into any mode before playing the 8 to 10 hour campaign would be a mistake. The story is a boring one, but it's also Fuser's effective tutorial spreading handfuls of lessons and techniques over its 36 levels. In almost all of them, you'll learn new tricks like synchronizing drops of multiple instruments at the same time. There's a smattering of objectives to complete during each performance, usually revolving around using the newly introduced skill in your set. This is the most effective way to learn how to combine Fuser's many components into a good show. That said, there are so many things to learn that it's easier to ignore them if not being specifically asked to use them. When things click, Fuser feels as cool and challenging as Rock Band or Guitar Hero. Going back to old stages to try to beat personal bests, armed with new knowledge and songs, is fun and fulfilling. The problem is that the campaign is also the only mode with nearly this much to do. Frankly, the absence of a dedicated mode that takes the objective-based play of the campaign into a more arcadey setting is a big disappointment. Progression is also a little artificially drawn out. On Level Up, you gain 2 types of points to spend on music and cosmetics, but the amount of XP you gain per set feels very low. You'll likely finish the campaign and still have a significant amount of songs that you can't afford. Sinking a dozen more hours into Fuser just to unlock obscure songs is a big ask. Battle Mode pits DJs head-to-head, retaining a basic set of Fuser's gameplay rules while modifying others to create a sense of competition. The spontaneous song requests and specific asks remain and are the major way to earn points on top of solid execution of the basics. It's a bummer that all of the advanced stuff you learn is disabled, but the sharp focus on the basic loops of gameplay does keep Battle Mode feeling balanced and strategic. There's a deck building quality to preparing your song lineup and specific mix combos in advance before throwing down with opponents. It's just that the adjusted rules can be a bit confusing after playing through the campaign. In Freestyle Mode, you are let loose to do whatever you want with the tools you have available. This is the mode where Fuser bridges the gap between rhythm game and actual digital instrument in a way that most in the genre can only hope to. With a little practice, you can create whole performances that feel like real artistic expression as opposed to dressed up karaoke. There's a co-op mode as well, and here a pair of people can pass the mix back and forth to one another in collaborative set slamming. If you're musically inclined, you could get a lot of mileage out of this. What feels like a sin is that none of the multiplayer modes are local. Sure, nobody's going to parties these days, but in a hopeful future where people can see each other in person again, not being able to play Fuser together in person the way we played Guitar Hero and Rock Band is a huge miss. At its best, Fuser feels like the most promising attempt yet to bring back the glory days of social music gaming. The tutorial-like campaign scratches the itch for fast-paced rhythm-based score chasing, while the freestyle mode could be turned into a true platform for content creation in the right hands. But a dearth of replayable game modes, lack of local multiplayer, and an exhausting grind to unlock more tracks can really kill the vibe. For more, check out some Fuser gameplay. We've also got a review of Kingdom Hearts musical spin-off, Melody of Memory, and for everything else, stick with IGN.